shag rug trail. I'm looping through the lava lamp, leaving a tail. My whoop's got rhythm, my stick's got soul. I'm the pilot of the party. On a roll, TV remote's a gate, the lamps a dive. I'm flying like it's 7.5. No GPS, no rules, no shame. Just a funky little quad in a soul train frame. We fly that flow, grab that gap. No time to nap, no time to nap. Hit that roll, funk and control, bounce that wall, we fly it all, we fly it all. Funky and free, we fly indoors, we fly with glee. Whoop it, loop it, groove it, move it, bounce it, flip it, funk it, rip it, fly that soul, don't lose control. Tiny whoop love gonna make you whole. I thread the needle through the vinyl stacks, bounce off the mirror ball, never looking back. My quad's got soul, it's got style, it's got sass. It dips through the incense like a blast from the past. I'm flying figure eights through the lava lamp glow, dodging house plants like a funky pro. My whoop's got rhythm, my stick's got heat. I'm the pilot of the party with the grooviest beat. I loop through the hallway, I dive by the broom. I'm the disco ghost in your living room. I hit that splitter over grandma's chair. She just claps and says, boy, you got flair. I'm flying freestyle with a velvet touch. My quad so smooth it don't need a clutch. From the shag rug to the ceiling fan, I'm the funky little fly with a master plan. The curtains dancing on the breeze, freestyle funk in my living room with ease. Tiny whoop magic bumping every wall. I'm the James Brown of flight, can't stop at all.
How did that song end so fast? What's up, friends? My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Welcome to Whoop Wednesday. That song's long. Hopefully, it hasn't been sitting here for too long. Jesus. My apologies for the dead air. Well, it wasn't really dead air. You got to watch me blow leaves off the roof. Real thrilling content. Tonight, we're going to be taking a look at the BetaFPV LiteRadio 4. They were kind enough to send this over. They've sent a couple of the other LiteRadios over, and they've been really decent. They've all gone out in giveaways, so I don't still have any of them. But yeah, I've been pretty impressed with them over the years here. And this is the newest version, which we will take a look at. I have giant hands. And so these small PlayStation controller style radios typically don't work, but not that they don't work, but they don't fit my hands as well as the giant QX7. But I've always been able to pinch on them, which is pretty cool. Sometimes with these controllers, you just can't, like, there's just not a way that you can put your hands to pinch. And I cannot fly like this. This is insane. And so, yeah, this one looks like it's a little bigger, which is a good thing. And it's always been a goal of mine to find a travel transmitter that I can throw, like, in a suitcase with a couple of tiny whoops and a couple of batteries and either the HD0 goggles if I want to get DVR, or just the Fat Shark goggles if I want to be absolutely as small as possible and not worry about DVR, just fly for fun. And this might be the one. So we're going to take a look at this in a little bit. I've had it plugged in. It came almost fully charged, which is kind of cool. But yeah, we'll take a look, see what's up. A couple little grips on the back. It makes me feel like you can open it, but I wouldn't think that you can open this. Batteries built in, plug in USB-C, charge it. I've had it plugged in for a little bit. No screen on this, and so you can't, like, change button assignments, but how often do you really do that? You set up your arm on aux 1, you set up your modes on aux 2, typically, right? And then you have like turtle mode and beeper on aux 3. And in the past, that's how these have been set up. And so it's like kind of good to go, which is, you know, it like initially it's like, oh my God, no screen. Like, no way. That's not going to work. But like kind of does, unless you do something crazy with your switches, right? Like if you're using like, so like for example, on the Tyrannus QX7, I've got like aux 6, I think, on the momentary switch, which lately I've been using for air mode on, air mode off. And so I might not be able to do that on here, but not the end of the world. Although, in theory, we've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So maybe this is, for all I know, this is 6, and it is a momentary. So I might be able to get full functionality, but yeah, if you're using like aux 8 for something, for example, you might not be able to do that on this. Or maybe you can plug this in to USB and do some kind of software, or there is a setup button down here. Maybe you can reassign the channels. But I think the point of this is that it's either possibly a travel radio, or like a beginner transmitter, right? Like, I feel like BetaFPV has always kind of aimed the LiteRadios at that kind of use. And so, yeah, we're going to check it out. I'm kind of excited. I hope that this thing is kind of good enough to be like a little bit of a travel radio, because like when you start, you know, the QX7 is just huge, right? Like putting this in your suitcase, this is like the size of 2 or 3 or 4 t-shirts. And it's got, you know, switches hanging off it and all kinds of gangly shit. The size difference is absolutely insane, right? And so like if you're flying somewhere, this is going to take a big chunk of space up in your suitcase, and like God forbid you check the suitcase, you're going to get it back with all the switches broken off and it might be on fire. And so yeah, traveling with something big like this, if you're not specifically traveling to fly FPV, is super annoying, right? This could be really, really, really cool for that. And yeah, I have high hopes. Feels good so far. You know what I really like about it? The throttle is not on clickies. It's not a notched throttle, but it's also nice and smooth. They don't have like the tension all cranked up on this. I kind of would like to pull it apart to change the tension on this, but it actually doesn't look like you can. It doesn't look like there's anywhere to Maybe I can pry these black bits off here, but I won't. I'll just kind of leave it the way that it is. In a perfect world, I would like to make this a little bit smoother, and then I would like to tighten up these springs on the side of the throttle. When you make your yaw springs a little bit tighter, it prevents you from, when you move the throttle up really fast, it prevents you from accidentally pushing into the yaw when you raise the throttle. So I usually run the yaw springs a little bit stronger than the pitch and roll springs. But this actually feels pretty good. This is in like a really nice middle ground. And, you know, if you're going out to fly for fun, like, who cares if you push a little bit of yaw when you slap the throttle up? You're, in theory, flying for fun, right? You're on vacation. In the chat, Nyafu is first, Andrew Taylor is next, Jamie Flies FPV is here, FizzPV rather. Frank Nicholas, you can FPV, Green Thumb, P Money, Whoop Fox, capital C. Scrolling a little bit here. P Money, Fizz, Nyafu, Denzel the Terrible, Shelby Voles in the house. What's up, brother? How are you? It's all mixed up. I really wish YouTube would display your guys' chosen names, not your actual youtube.com/names. That's a super strange thing that's happened here, and I keep looking for somewhere that I can change that. Is it like participants? No, it's not participant. It just doesn't. Why did they do this? Why have you done this, YouTube? Moderation activity? Yes? No, I have that turned on. Very weird. Very weird. Very weird. Apparently is what I was about to say. If you want to talk directly to me, type at CiottiFPV. Jamie says, oh, hi. Denzel the Trouble says, good evening, CiottiFPV, and all you cake sniffers. You can FPV says, does this have official ELRS support? I don't know. What's official ELRS support? Like, the ELRS team says, like, yes, it's okay? Is that the deal? Here it is over on their website, $49.99. Twilight Limited Edition, Mode 2. Oh, look at that. Yeah, they have, like, Mode 1, Mode 2. I wonder what the Twilight Limited Edition is. What's the Twilight? That I would think that would be this darker color, but it's... That's weird. One would think that this would be the Twilight Limited Edition, and this wouldn't. But maybe they just have those switched around. Oh no, look. Twilight 1000 in white. Okay. Interesting. Limited blue hour color, it says. Okay. It's kind of like a... That would make me... If it's blue hour color, that would make me think it's gray. Are they sure? I would think this would be blue hour color, wouldn't you? Whatever. Who cares what color it is? Let me do a search for official. Nope. Well, I typed office instead of official. I can't spell official. There we go. I spelled official. No, doesn't look like it says anywhere on their website that it has official ELRS support. But, you know, in theory, it's just a starter radio and or a... Yeah, hey, look at that. Okay, so I was right. You can plug it in, and then it looks like you can change all of the buttons around with their software, BetaFPV Configurator V2.0. Very cool. Simplified troubleshooting, easy parameter adjustment. Do not power on the transmitter before connecting it to the PC. Doing so will render the USB port non-functional. What? What's that about? I already powered it on, so it sounds like I've rendered the USB port non-functional. Okay. Hopefully the switches are all in the right positions. Okay. There's the manual. Here's the... I'm assuming this is the configurator. Let's see if I screwed this up. BetaFPV configurator, ARM64. What's the difference? X64, ARM64. I think I'm maybe ARM64, perhaps. We'll give it a shot. Is it done? It's done. Open. BetaFPV configurator app. Let's see if it'll connect, or let's see if by my turning it on before plugging it in, I've done something bad. Configure app is damaged and cannot be opened. That's not gone super well. What if I copy it to the desktop? Let's see. It's a .app. All right, let's see what happens here. Damaged and cannot be opened. Okay, well, that's not gone well. Let's see what this README says. Step 3, follow steps 1 through 4 to install. Aha! Look at this. Whoa, look at, oh boy. Oh, we're doing some terminal stuff. Okay, I'm not gonna mess with this. I'm just going to pretend like I'm absolutely brand new, and I just want to get the thing going. Since I've already turned it on, in theory, I've already potentially locked out the USB. I wonder what that's about. That seems a little odd. I wonder if they're kind of like, well, if you're an experienced person, you're going to plug it in right away. If you're not, you're just going to power it on right away. Or it could be something not, who knows. Looks like it works on all the simulators. Of course, they're all kind of like that. That makes sense. 2000 mAh battery. Says it lasts for 8 hours, 40 minutes on a full... Wait, no. What? Oh, takes 40 minutes to fully charge. Lasts 8 hours. Looks like... Oh, I see. If you run it at 100 milliwatts, it'll last for 8 hours. If you run it at 25 milliwatts, apparently it'll last all day. I see. Yeah, it does charge up to full in 40 minutes. So, pretty standard stuff for a transmitter. Doesn't mention that it has Hall sensor gimbals, so in theory it doesn't. Couple of trim switches here. Setup button. Yeah, pretty standard stuff. How am I gonna put a binding phrase on this? Let's take a look. ELRS web flasher. So let's see if we can connect it in here. So it is now plugged in with USB. We're gonna go hardware vendor, BetaFPV. It is 2.4, and then target. I'm gonna make an assumption that it's the LiteRadio 3 Pro. Uses the same target as that, I should say. So we're gonna do my bind phrase here. And flashing method, let's do, I guess Edge TX pass-through, right? Not Betaflight pass-through because it's not a quad. BetaFPV joystick, that's cool. Okay, that's looking good. Not good. Hold on. Ew. Failed to connect the device. Restart device and try again. Okay, so let's unplug it. Plug it back in. Maybe I have to power it up before I plug it into USB. We'll try that again in a second. Connect. Joystick paired. No. Okay, so let's try this. I'm going to unplug it. I'm going to power the thing up. Looks like it's the same as DJI. You got to do tap and then press to power it up. All right, it's now powered up. Now I'm going to plug it in, and we'll hit connect. Now. Okay. So. Failed pass-through initialization. Let's go previous and see what other options we have. Local download, serial UART, Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi? How would I get a controller into Wi-Fi mode. How about this? Let's dive into the box and read the instruction manual. So, it comes with... they've always done these. These are really nice. If you're going to travel with this thing... I'm going to unplug it and power it down. Plays a little song. If you're going to travel with this thing, you are going to want to keep the gimbals from... What you don't want is one of the gimbals to get pushed over and for it to sit in your suitcase for days on end with spring tension. And so they give you this really nice little gimbal cover here that is like rubber, and it like you have to actually put force on it to get it down over the thumbsticks. This is really nice. This is super, super, super appreciated. And then it also, of course, comes with a little USB-C cord. And then proper instruction manual, it looks like. Yep. And then the little knowledge base card with the QR code that goes to their website. So let's take a gander here at what might be going on. So, again, I'm trying to approach this as someone that's kind of like new. Different buttons, default setting. Here you go. Mode 2, throttle is on the left. Great. RF module on. ELRS 2.4. Great. ELRS 3, which is nice. We were about to put, what, 3.6 on it? Yeah, we were about to put 3.6 on it. So we don't need to update it. Transmitter power, 100 milliwatts. Packet rate, 250 hertz. Cool. Telemetry rate, 1/8. And then, yeah, standard channel layout. SA, SB, SC, SD, SE, SF. Okay, cool. To be expected. Basic power on, power off. Great. Wi-Fi. Here we go. Green light solid on. So, how do we get it into Wi-Fi? Charging, binding. Here we go. Well, actually, no. We need to get into Wi-Fi first. So, let's see. Fine tuning, connecting to a simulator. Proper manual. Good job. I'm so tired of stuff not coming with actual manuals. Configure radio transmitter. Okay, compliance information. Nothing on how to get it into Wi-Fi mode that I can see in here at a super quick glance. Green solid light on. Oh, it probably tells me right here. Short press to display current battery. So I need to get the green light solid on. So if I push the button, I'll do it like this. If I push the button once, it tells me the battery level. It's full. If I hold it, maybe that'll put it into Wi-Fi mode. I'm looking for a green light. In theory, if I just hold this for a while, maybe it'll put it into Wi-Fi. Nope. What about like double press? Triple press? 4 presses? No. So to turn it on, 1 press and then hold. Just like DJI. And I think to turn it off, you probably do the same thing. But what if I just hold it? I'm looking for green light. I'm looking for just the green light. Let's just hold it down for a while. Oh, you know what? It's probably the bind button. Maybe not. Okay, so holding it down doesn't do it. Here's the bind button down here. Let's see what happens when we hit that. Nothing. What if we hold it? Oh. Okay, so that's in bind mode, but I need to get my binding phrase on here. Come out of bind mode, little friend. Okay, we're out of bind mode. What about the setup button? Hit it once, nothing. Hit it and hold it. Let's get it out of setup mode. Hey, there we go. Green solid. So it's in Wi-Fi mode now. So in here, we can go to next, and then we'll go to Wi-Fi. Hit next. Well, maybe we don't have to do that. Let's try this. So it should pop up here. Nope, it went to blue. I guess it only gave me a second in Wi-Fi mode, which is odd. I'm holding this setup button. Gimbals feel fine, CMYK. Exactly what you would expect from a simple little transmitter. I'm going to push both buttons. Nope. Nothing. No Wi-Fi mode. I think it's in bind mode. Hold on. Let's hold the bind button down. Oh, it's freaking out. Hold on. We're gonna power it down. Okay. We've powered it down. Let's power it back up. One hit and then press and hold. All right, cool. What about these little switches here? What if I hold them down? Nope, nothing. This song's my jam. Beep 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 sounds. Okay. Charging. We don't care about charging. Frequency binding with receivers. This is probably where it's going to talk about. Put the frequency in binding state. Blah 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 blah. Binding successful. If binding is not successful. All right. Complete. Flash is red. Charging complete. Green light. Nope, that doesn't talk about it. Calibrating the joysticks. Nope, that's not it. Calibration. Nope, we do not need to calibrate. Fine tuning. Nope, don't need that. Bluetooth joystick mode. Oh, that's interesting. That's the charger telling me that the Tiny Whoop batteries are done. Data cable joystick mode, just plug it in. It basically says data cable Xbox mode. No way. Huh. Okay. Windows operating system, Android operating system. Why you can connect it to Android. That's pretty slick. Configure radio transmitter, connecting BetaFPV configurator, upgrading the radio transmitter firmware. Wow, it really doesn't say anywhere in here how to get it into Wi-Fi mode. Let's see if Google knows the answer. BetaFPV, LiteRadio 4, Wi-Fi. Okay. Here we go. So here's the manual that I can probably search for within. Oh boy. So let's search for Wi-Fi. Nothing. Y space Fi. Nothing. Wi-Fi. Nothing. How is there nothing? It has to say Wi-Fi somewhere in here. Firmware upgrade. Don't need that. Upgrading firmware flasher. Don't need that. All these images are broken. What's happening? Oh wow, this is a short manual. Here's a PDF though. All right, let's see. Sometimes PDFs do really well with text search. Not this one though. Yeah, okay, this is just images. And this is just the destruction manual, so that's not going to help us. All right. Well, what else we got here? Wi-Fi. Okay. Wi-Fi mode. What if I search for that? Hold the button. Here we go. Hey, look at this. Let's see if AI has got it right. You must first turn it off, then press. Oh, here we go. All right, so turn it off. I hate when the AI has the answer. Hopefully it's the wrong answer. Turn it off, then press and hold the bind button while briefly pressing and holding the power button. Okay. Bind button. Power button. Nothing. Turn it off, then press and hold the bind button while briefly pressing and holding the power button. That's it. Okay. Nothing. To turn on, next press the bind button again, briefly, to change the status light from purple to green. Okay, bind button, power button, bind button. Nope, bind button. Let's try the double tap on the power button. Hey, there's purple. And then, what does it say? Bind button again to go from purple to green. There we go. All right, so we got green. So now it is in Wi-Fi mode. Let's come up here, see if we can find it. Come on, buddy. It's still green. Show up, you rat. Show up! Let's turn Wi-Fi off and on. Sometimes that helps the computer figure its shit out. There we go. Express LRS TX. And now, in theory, it'll pop up a... there it is. So here, I sure wish it talked about that in the manual. There's a chance that it did, and I just didn't find it. But, you know, I'm playing the role of new person. New people are typically not going to read the entire manual line by line by line. And here we go, binding phrase. CiottiFPV. Save. Upload successful. Reboot to take effect. Reboot. Awesome. It's still green in Wi-Fi mode, but it has, well, I guess it sent a command for it to reboot. So I'm going to hold the power button. I just want to shut it off. Tap, hold. Tap, hold. How do I get it out of Wi-Fi mode? Bind button? No. Let's just hold the power button. Nope. Tap, hold. There we go. There we go. Okay. Power down. Tap and hold to power it back up. And let us see if it has bound. And then I'm going to hop into beta flight and we'll take a look at where all the switches show up. But that's good. It made a little beep when that thing fired up. Let's see what happens when I zero the throttle and hit. I'll just try this switch. It's giving me a couple little flashes. That's good. What about this one? Something's going on. Hasn't armed yet, though. What about this switch here? Nope. Something's happening, but it's not. Oh, it's in AETR, whereas I am on TAER. So watch this. If I put this in the middle and hold it over like that, I bet you it will arm. Nope, not quite. Put this switch over here. Is it the other side, maybe? Balls. Oh, you know, I am gonna have to make some changes on this because I am TAER. Let's get into beta flight real quick, and we will take a look at what's happening in the modes tab. That's gonna be the easiest way to figure out what's going on here. Yeah, I need to get this transmitter into TAER. Otherwise, I'll have to change all my quads to AETR. You know, see, I'm like he runs his radios in eater mode, EATR. I can't get this battery unplugged. All right. So yeah, it is connecting fine. So getting the binding phrase on it was not an issue. This is the Newbie Drone Race, which uses this insane Race V2, which uses this insane little pin header thing when you want to connect it to Betaflight. I'm not going to use this. I'm going to grab the regular Hummingbird V4, which is right here. Come on! Come out of there. There we go. All right. So yeah, we're going to use this one so I don't have to use that silly little thing. Right. Let's see what's going on here. Firing up Betaflight. It did connect nice and quick. That's because the transmitter was on when I powered on the quad. Hummingbird V4, connect, receiver. And yeah, so that's what it looks like when the transmitter is on. Oh, what? Oh, this is odd. I've got all or nothing on the sticks. That's very weird. What is happening with that? So when I go bottom left, oh, there's something very weird happening here. And look at aux 12. What's aux 11? What's aux 11 doing? Aux 11's going up and down in a very weird way. Hold on, let's see here. What's interesting is aux 1 is on the switch that I thought it was on. Aux 2 is on the switch that I thought it was on. What's this button here? Oh, this button's aux 5. This button's aux 6. So that's funny. The air mode on a switch will absolutely work on this. And then so this is going to be what? Aux 3? Yeah, this position 3 position is aux 3. So the aux switches are perfect. But the pitch, roll, yaw, and throttle are on or off switches right now. And that ain't going to work. And I don't think that's TAER related. Let's just for the sake of argument, let's go to AETR, hit save, and just see what happens here. No, they're still on-off switches. Okay, so let's go back to TAER. Save it. Huh. Why would the sticks be on-off switches like that? So I've got a bind and a setup button. I've got... Ooh, this is weird. Express LRS. Let's just, real quick, let's just do something really fast to kind of show you that the quad is not the problem. I'm going to fire up my QX7. And it's going to take a second to connect here. Okay, so the quad is fine. All right, so the transmitter is definitely the issue here. All right, let's take a quick look here. So default settings, mode 2, throttle is on the left, great. RF module on. Protocol, Express LRS 3 2.4, great. Telemetry packet rate, we already talked about all that. Other settings, buzzer tone switch on. Joystick center dead zone 1%. All right. Fine tuning button. Maybe it has something to do with these fine tuning buttons. So let's turn this back on. And we're going to make some changes and see if they affect this thing. All right, cool. So still on off switches. You can see that, right? Like I'm moving it and it's just on off switching. So what about these two little guys here? Let's click one of them in. So these are apparently the fine tuning switches on the front here. So if I click one in, does that make any change? Nope. What if I click the other one in? Nope. What if I hold one of them? It beeps. That doesn't help anything. They're still on off switches. Hold the other one. Nope, it just beeps. Okay, so this is adjusting trims. I'm going like left. But then if I go back to center, beep, you get that long beep. Most transmitters are like that. So the trim switches have nothing to do with it. These switches don't have anything to do with it here. The bind button's not going to have anything to do with it, so it must have to do with the setup button. So let's hit the setup button once. Off axis, thank you for the $1.50 super chat. I appreciate it, brother. So hit the setup button once. No changes. Let's hold the setup button. What's happening there? What's happening with the roll stick? Nope, nothing. And when I held the setup button, nothing happened. Let's hold it again. Nope. Tap the setup button? Nah, nothing. Setup button doesn't seem to do anything. Those are all the buttons. So, for a new person, now what? Status, fine-tune button, power, joystick, power on off. We've got a solid blue light. What's that mean? Solid blue light means working, no buzzers, description working. Okay? Beep, 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 short press power button, display current battery. Charging. Okay, no. Frequency binding with receiver. I mean, we already got that, so that's fine. Calibrating. Oh. Do we need to calibrate? Let's try calibration. That is like the third thing in the menu. So, what's it say here? Joystick calibration consists of 2 stages. The first stage is to calibrate the joystick center position. Second stage is to calibrate the joystick boundaries. This isn't going to help, but we're going to try it anyway. Turn on the radio transmitter. Long press the setup button on the bottom to enter the first stage of the joystick calibration state. I've already tried that, and it didn't do anything. But let's try it again. Let's long press it forever. Make sure the joysticks are in the middle. Let's try this. Let's make it not connected to the quad. We'll unplug the quad. It's going to beep. All right, so it is disconnected from the quad. Now I'm going to hold the setup button. There we go. Okay, so now it's in setup mode. And so now it says I want to center the sticks. All right, move joysticks in the middle position. Press the setup button briefly. All right, briefly. All right, it records the center position. And so now gently touch the 4 boundaries. Okay. All right, and then I'm going to put it back in the center and then hit the setup button again. All right, so we've now calibrated it. It does say that they're calibrated from the factory, but I was dicking around and I was hitting that button and maybe I mangled it. So let's plug it back into the, let's get it connected back to the quad and see if that maybe fixed it. That could totally be my fault because I did hold that setup button down a minute ago. So this could totally have been my bad here. All right, it is now connected. Let's go in here and let's go to receiver and awesome. Okay, so much better. So now they're not on-off switches. That was totally my fault. But the problem here is that this thing is in AETR mode. See how that model keeps spinning? So I'm like throttled down and it just keeps spinning around. So I need to figure out how to get this thing into TAER. Because what I would need to do to get this thing 0 throttle. What? The throttle's on the right stick. Oh, that's odd. Why is the... Well, let's do this. Here, let's put it into AETR and save, and let's see what happens. Okay, yeah, so that is the problem. Now we're normal. Throttle up, down, yaw left, right, roll left, right, pitch forward and back. Okay, so yeah, I need to figure out how to get this into TAER mode. And more than likely, that means I'm going to have to get this connected to the software. But let's just check the manual for any of that. Fine-tuning, no. Configure, no. Data, nope, that ain't it. Upgrading the firmware, nope. Connecting to BetaFPV configurator, yeah, that's what I'm going to have to do. So we're going to get to see how difficult it is to get that BetaFPV configurator software installed, because there's nothing in here that mentions TAER or AETR. Me being on TAER is it is on mode 2. Me being on TAER is admittedly weird. Most type into chat if you're on TAER mode. Type TAER into the chat. You'll notice that nobody types TAER into the chat. TAER is like old school RC airplane stuff. I'm just taking one quick look here just to make sure that it doesn't mention TAER in here. Because it would be awesome if there was like a, you know, hold the setup button and push it 3 times to switch from AETR to TAER, but I'm pretty sure that that ain't gonna happen. Cole FPV says I'm probably TAER. I honestly don't remember. Yeah, see, look, nobody has said that they're on TAER. So for most people, this would now just work. The weirdness was me holding that button. All right, well, we're gonna get the full experience here. I'm gonna turn this off. I'm gonna unplug the quad, and we are gonna get this software installed. Cole says you can change it in the channel mapping in literally that same Betaflight menu. When you say change it, what is it? What is the it that I can change? All right, so we don't need this. We do need that software. Hold on. So, all right, so we want README. You can type in the letters in any order. Sure, but then I would have to go through every single one of my quads and change them all. And that's, you know, that's unacceptable. So we're going to come in here and I'm going to, well, yeah, you guys can watch this. This is fine. I don't think there's anything so yeah, I mean, I could certainly just connect every single quad to Betaflight and then change them all to AETR and then change my main transmitter to AETR, but that's pretty insane, is it not? So here's the instructions that they have. What? So you double click that, it does this. Okay. Drag my mouse icon to here. Why? Why would I want to do that? Stop it. What? So it wants me to drag this onto that. But why? That's an odd thing to do. Oh, okay. This is going to my applications folder. Okay, so I'm installing this in applications. So it is 258 megabytes. All right. So all that wants you to do is put the actual configurator app into your well, maybe that'll make it work. Hold on. Maybe that's all I needed to do. Maybe it just didn't want to run it from the thing in the place. Let's just see what happens here. Nope. Okay. So there is something that I have to do with the terminal. And now it's telling me. All right, so let's see what's up here. I'm going to take you guys off screen share just for a split second because it's probably going to ask me to type my password in. It shouldn't show the password, but God forbid it does. Right, so... okay. Mouse drag the icon to terminal. I've never done that before. That's interesting. Let's try it. Oh, cool. Okay. So it puts blah, 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 blah. Oh, look, number 3, number 2, number 1. All right, so it wants me to type some weird shit in. So, oh, what's going on here? Nope, get that out of there. Wait, APP. Okay, so I need to come back here. Yeah, I'm not going to... What was that? Why did it do that? Why are things changing? I'm not telling them to change. What's happened? What? Terminal, work. What are you doing? Oh boy. All right, hold on. Let me quit out of the terminal and reconnect. Okay, so step 1, enter the command. Sudo space XATTR space -RD space com dot apple dot quarantine. I have a feeling there's a computer security person that is screaming right now, and then space screaming, "Don't do this. This is bad. They're gonna eat you." And then we drag this over. Okay. Yep, that looks like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 4th step is enter the password. Okay. All right. So that's not too hard. So at this point, I want to hit enter. It's going to ask me for my password. And I've now installed a virus. Great. Enter the password. Enter to execute the command. Okay. Maybe it's working now. Let's find out. There we go. Let's see what happens. Hey, look at that. Cool. You couldn't see it because I was sharing the wrong screen. But now it's working. All right. Let's get out of terminal. And let's plug it in. That wasn't too bad. I went into the README folder. So I downloaded the thing, which was linked on the product page. It downloaded this here. I went into the README. It opened up this, and it has step 1, 2, 3, 4, and I just followed along. That was not bad. Not the easiest thing in the world, but not the hardest either. I can now get rid of that. And cool, let's take a look. It is plugged in. Let's hit connect. Maybe it'll connect. It did have that warning on the product page that said don't power it on before you plug it into USB, so there's a chance that it's like this is not going to work here. Unable to find serial port. Connect flight controller. Well, yeah, okay. Device, no, I'm not on a PC. This is all PC stuff. More PC stuff. More PC stuff. Okay, so that is not helpful. Let's come back in here. Let's try. Did you try turning it off and on again? I have a feeling that I did not heed this warning. And I think that I have rendered the USB port non-functional. But let's try this. Let's try plugging it into a different USB-C cable. Okay. And let's see if that helps. It does not. So, LiteRadio 4. Let's see where that brings us. That brings us right back where we were a second ago. So that doesn't help. All right. What if I unplug it? Is there any reaction from the configurator here when I unplug it? Something just happened. Right? Let's see. Plugging it back in? No, nothing. All right. Well. Oh, no, nothing happened. It's their website flashing. Damn. They should probably not have this warning in light gray text all the way at the bottom of their products page. They should probably have a giant sheet of orange paper on top of the radio that says this, because I can't use this now, I don't think. It doesn't say, like, if you do accidentally do this, here's the solution, which usually means that there is no solution. Let's try powering it on, and then we'll plug it in. Maybe that's the missing link. All right, it's now plugged in. Nothing. Oh, man. Okay. Well. Frank Nicholas says, I think you're misreading that gray line. Power off radio, connect to PC, run configurator. Yeah, I've tried it both. I've tried it both powered on and powered off. Oh, change, close beta flight, someone says. Great idea. Great idea. Great idea. Great idea. We'll quit both. We'll quit both the BetaFPV configurator and beta flight. And now we'll relaunch this. Nah, nothing. Oh, and this is just taking me to the driver fixer that the PC folks have to do all the time. Wowee. Tamava says, click to activate configurator for radio transmitter. Sometimes all you got to do is read. It looks like that was it. So COM handset 3, connect RC, connecting. Please make sure LiteRadio is powered off. Awesome. Okay. So both Frank Nicholas and Tamava were right. Let's power this thing off. Awesome. That is worded on their website a little bit weird. Okay, so COM handset 3, connect RC, connecting. Hey, there we go. I was going to say, burying that little, like, that'd be a bit much. Okay, cool. But, if I missed it, somebody else is going to miss it too. So let's see if we can change it to TAER. It doesn't look like it. Oh, boy. I don't see AETR or TAER anywhere in here. Unit type, LiteRadio, internal radio module, blah, 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 hardware version, blah, 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 firmware version, blah, blah, blah. We don't want to change it to mode 1. This is not a mode 1, mode 2 thing. I don't think. Let's try it. We're going to try changing it to mode 1. I don't think that's going to fix it, but you never know. So, all right. It's now in mode 1. Let's plug the Hummingbird back in. And we're going to fire up BetaFlight. Sorry, guys, I was on the wrong screen. You didn't miss anything. I changed it. There's a little thing that says mode 1. Mode 2. I changed it to mode 1. Receiver tab. And let's see what's what. Oh, it's not connected. Hold on. Let's power it up. Okay. Powering up. It'll give me another beep when it connects. There we go. All right. It is now connected. Throttle all the way. No. This is not a mode 1, mode 2 issue. Throttle is on roll. And then it's very weird. The setup here is very odd. But this won't work. As you can see, the model, I have the throttle all the way down and everything else is centered and the model is spinning. So this will not work. Disconnect. And let's unplug the quad. We will plug the radio back in, and we'll look elsewhere in the BetaFPV configurator to see if there's a spot to change it over to TAER, but I don't think that there is. So I got to go back to mode 2. Trainer port is off. That's fine. Internal RF module is on. Great. ELRS 3 2.4. Great. External RF module. Nope. External RF module serial port protocol. Nope. Power 100 milliwatts. We can change it to 25 or 50 or 100. All right. Packet rate we can change to 500, 250, 150, 50. That's great. Telemetry ratio we can change as well. But that's it. That is all that we can change. And so if you are on TAER... Oh, wait. Here we go. Okay, so I can fix it in here, I think. Yeah. All right, we got it. There's not like a simple drop down, but look, it is on AETR right now. So I'm going to change it to TAER. All set. Awesome. No need to reverse them. Buzzer switch on, whatever. Joystick dead zone, whatever. Save and reboot. All set. Again, I am a weirdo on TAER. Most people are not on TAER. It's just me. All right. Plug this tiny whoop back in, and we are going to be good to go this time. It just connected. Receiver tab. Hey, now we're talking 988. So let's zoom in a little bit. So bottom left with all 4, they go down to 988, nice and clean. No jitter at all because they've got that little dead zone built in. I actually kind of like that. And then if I go top right, well, either I didn't get the calibration quite right or they just don't have... Yeah, let's... Well, no, this is fine. The highest number is 1991. So all I have to do here... Well, now, this is annoying. Let's recalibrate the transmitter here. So I'm going to recalibrate this, and I'm going to push the sticks harder. Let's see. No, less. I'm going to push the sticks less hard, I think. So where is... All right, calibrating your joystick. Let's try this one more time. We are going to hold the setup button. All right, and we are going to center the sticks. That's centered. And then what do we do? Move all joysticks to the middle. Press the setup button briefly. All right. Tap the setup button. Great. And so now it says gently touch the 4 boundaries. Up, down, left, and right. Left, up, right. Okay. Short press the setup button. Okay. So that is the calibration that they told me to do. What I'm used to doing is the Edge TX and Open TX calibration method where you go all around like this. What they tell you to do is just go down, left, right, and up. And they do specifically say gently. That may have been the deal here. I'm now going to turn this guy... No, I'm going to leave it on. Because all I care about is Betaflight at this point. I don't need to use the BetaFPV configurator again. That configurator is not bad. The little BetaFPV configurator is fairly simple. Okay, and so let's go bottom left. All right, everything is below 1,000. Top right. We're talking. Cool. Everything is above 2,000 now, which is exactly what we want. That's what most transmitters will do. Most transmitters, when you go top right on both sticks, they will be above 2,000. When you go bottom left on both sticks, they will be below 1,000. That is really cool. because I can now leave my stick low and stick high thresholds alone. I run these at 1,000 and 2,000 for the maximum possible resolution on the sticks. Now I don't have to change them for this quad here. So we're good to go. Just to kind of confirm, this switch that I would expect to be the arming switch is the arming switch. The 3 position right next to it is the aux 2 switch. I would expect that to be the mode switch. Off on the right side here, we've got another 3 position switch. That's on aux 3. That is what we usually use for our turtle mode and beeper. And then what I find to be hysterical is that aux 6 is correctly assigned for air mode, for if you do air mode on the momentary switch. So that's actually awesome. So I don't need to adjust any of these switches. I do want to take a look at whether or not I have air mode set up. I do, yeah. See, so I have air mode. So air mode is going to be, oh, well, it's reversed. So when I hit the button, it's going to turn air mode on. When I release the button, it's going to turn air mode off. I can fix that, though. That's the aux 6. I'm going to power down the radio. And then I am going to disconnect from Betaflight here. I'm going to plug the radio in, and I'm going to reverse aux 6. So plugging the transmitter in, coming over here, connect RC, connecting. All right. And so I need to go channel 6. Well, no, I guess it's channel 10. On the radio, I can see it is S like Sam, F. And so there it is. Channel 10 is SF. And there's this here for reverse. And so I just need to reverse that. Save and reboot. And now I'm doing it this way because I don't want to change anything on the quad. I'm acting as if this is my travel radio. So I'm setting this radio up exactly the way that my QX7 is so that I don't have to change stuff, right? If you were just doing this for the first, if this is your first transmitter, you could just in Betaflight take that where air mode is active and just move it to the other side. But I'm setting this up for me so that I don't have to change anything quad side. And so now we can, one more time, connect the Whoop, connect here, unplug the LiteRadio, power the LiteRadio up, and we should be good to go now. If I go into the modes tab, we've got arm. So disarmed is here, armed is forward, like in, basically. And that's actually really nice because now it's armed and I can kind of rest maybe my middle finger here, and to disarm, I just pull outwards. I like that. That's the way that it should be, in my opinion. 3-position switch is the way that I would expect it. Far forward is horizon on and then horizon off. And this 2-position switch here, this is going to toggle the adjustment setup that I have for the 2 different OSD setups. So that's the way that I would expect it to be. Aux 3. Yep, that works. Everything off is switch position forward. 1 click is turtle mode. Next click is beeper. Totally fine. Push that thing away from me. Air mode is now on. You can see that as it sits with the change that I just made, within range, this is air mode turned on, and when I pop this button, momentary button, that's going to move it out of the range, and that's going to turn air mode off. So that is now the way that it should be. And there's flip over after crash, on in the middle. Great. And then launch control just for fun. It's whatever. Awesome. I didn't make any changes, but I'll hit save out of habit. And we're good. Cool. So that was, we had to do a little something there, mainly because I'm a weirdo and I'm on TAER. Most of you are on AETR, so you wouldn't have had to do any of that other than maybe if you're doing the air mode thing, you would need to reverse this button. Yeah, that's actually interesting. So the default setup, the default setup for this button is opposite of FrSky's default setup for their momentary switch. I never reversed this momentary switch. I just mapped the channel for this momentary switch. So if you're using your momentary on an FrSky transmitter, it's probably going to be opposite of these push buttons here. I have a feeling that most people aren't using that momentary switch for anything, but if you are, there you go. You got to go into the software and you got to reverse it. I think that's the only thing that I should have had to do. The sticks came from the factory calibrated, and then I screwed it up when I was trying to figure out how to get it into Wi-Fi mode. Initially I tried to just not install the software and do everything on here, and so that's what led me down that path of needing to figure out how to get this into Wi-Fi mode to get my binding phrase on there. But I guess I had to do that. Yeah, so ELRS web flasher would not connect, and I don't think that had anything to do with anything. So I think to get your binding phrase on here, you are going to have to figure out how to get this into Wi-Fi mode. It was just a Google search away, but I would love for that to have been in the instruction manual, right? How to get it into Wi-Fi mode. The instruction manual talked about this light being green, meaning it's in Wi-Fi mode, but it didn't tell me how to get it into Wi-Fi mode. So that would be something really nice to have in the instruction manual. For all I know, it's mentioned here on the product page, but I doubt it. And Google had to find it for me. Wait, where's that? Hold on, where's that? Let's see where. So what I basically did is type BetaFPV LiteRadio 4 Wi-Fi mode, and then Google AI did find it. If I hit show more, it should tell me where it found it. Usually it'll tell you where it found this info. I would love to know. It might have done speech to text on one of these YouTube videos. I betcha. Yeah, it did it from Ed Ricker's video. I'll bet. Nope, no, it didn't. This is from 2023. It probably did it from Mangerlight's video. So yeah, interesting. But I guess it's nice that this did figure it out. Oh wait, is it from right here? Manual for while holding down the bind key. Ah, here it is. Okay, so I just missed it. Something's going on with BetaFPV's website. It's looking a little rough. Here it is. Oh, flashing the ELRS firmware. So it is in the instructions, because there is a flashing the ELRS firmware section in here, right? Let's see. I did not look in that section, and I certainly don't think somebody new would, but connecting to a simulator, Xbox mode, upgrading radio transmitter firmware, is it in here? Press and hold the power button. While holding down the setup button, the status indicator light will go blue. No, I don't think it is in here. I don't think it is in the actual instructions, but it is on this manual for LiteRadio 4 on their website. So if you were to read the full manual here on their website, you would get to this part, and it would specifically say, hold down the bind key, quickly press, and then long press the power button to turn on, press the bind key to put it into Wi-Fi mode. Okay, so it's here. It's not that hard to find. It's also not easy to find. There should be a line in the manual about that, if you ask me. Cool, let's fly. VRX working? It is indeed. Let's see how it is. Battery is internal. Does not look serviceable, but it probably is. I'm assuming these black covers here are covering up all the screws because there are no external screw holes whatsoever. So I'm assuming you've got to pry these black panels off. The black panels do have a couple three little indentations, which make me feel like I should be able to push it forward, but it doesn't seem to do anything. I have a feeling that you have to pry these off. How, if you pry them off and they get all, I don't know if they get all mangled when you pry them off or not, but yeah, they certainly don't just pop off. I'm putting some force into them, and they don't seem to want to just like nicely pop off. Pulling them outwards now. Nah. I'm gonna make an assumption that you have to pry these black things off to get at the screw holes, which I'm kind of doing just a little bit right now with my fingernail. Yeah, I don't know about that. But there's no screw holes anyway. I don't want to screw this thing up because I'm going to do a giveaway with this. And so, yeah, we'll leave it alone. Let's fly it. In theory, it's your first radio or it's your travel radio, and you're not going to use the thing. Oscar Lang did a teardown. Here, let's see. CMYK hook this up. Let's see. Oscar, what you got? Yeah, so there's the little, these are the little things that make me feel like I can just push up on this, but man, I put a bunch of force into it in all four directions, and it did not. Not Hall effect gimbals. Gimbers. No. BetaFPV offers a special edition one that does come with Hall sensor gimbals. That's interesting. Maybe that's this white one. Where's the teardown at? Hey, there it is. So, all right, he doesn't really show. Looks like it's just a little flat battery in there. So, like, in theory, you could swap that battery out. Looks like a little JST plug, but you would have to find a battery that would fit. Yeah, here's the screw holes. He doesn't mention how to get the back pieces off, but obviously they do come off. Whether or not they come off and then you can put them back on in a way that doesn't mangle it, who knows? But yeah, there you go. Cool. Good find, brother. I'm really curious, man. No, I'm not going to screw it up. If I start really hammering on it, I'm going to mess it up. Let's fly it. So, here we are. LiteRadio 4. Let's see what's what. Why do I not have video? That's a little weird. Do I have video on my goggles? No. Why? Where's Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Did the Hummingbird die? Was I having video problems with this thing previously? I feel like I might have been. Wasn't it acting weird last time I flew it? Let's try turning it off and on. Oh no! Oh no! Is the Hummingbird dead? I think the Hummingbird might be dead. No! No! Hold on. I've been so impressed by this Hummingbird. It's been like really durable and it's flown really good, and Ouch. Let's get the, let's plug the race in and see what happens. Oh, shit! The VTX died on the Hummingbird V4. Oh, bro! Hold on. Let me just push on the board a bunch and push the camera cable in. Oh, dude. Come on now. Really? Nah, nothing. See, when I power it up, I don't even get a blip. Like, the VTX is just, it's just gone. Boo! Oh, man. This thing was the king of Castle Crash, yo. It took so much abuse. It was the last build of mine that still worked by the end of Castle Crash. I'm just like pushing on the AIO just to see if I can get anything. Nah, nothing, man. It doesn't do anything. So on my goggles, I shuffled through the channels, and there's nothing. There's no channel that's showing any video in my goggles. A, B, E band, R band, I band, X band, L band. Nope. What happens if we plug this into Betaflight and take a look at the VTX table section? Let's see real quick. I do seem to remember the VTX starting to flake out on this, though, last time I flew it. So if we come in here to video transmitter, it does say that the device is ready. Oh, what's happening here? No band? Why? What? Race 8. Low power disarm. Okay. What in the world? What was that about? Yo, that's weird. I have a feeling that just fixed it. Let's see. That was weird. There we go. That's very... Well, I might have spoke too soon. Hold on. Oh, no, wait. I'm on A band. Hold on. There it is. I don't know if I've ever seen that. That's very strange. Okay, whatever. Let's fly it. LiteRadio 4. What? Uh-oh. We're not out of the woods yet. It looks like it's arming. Oh, it's in turtle mode. Ah, ha, 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 ha. Okay. Hey, there we have it. All right. Woo! Okay. Okay. All right. It's little. It's little. Hold on. Wowee. Hold on. Just... Woo! Hold on. I'm moving it around in my hands. Yikes. Okay. Let me just give me one quick second here. All right. So, what I'm having to do is it feels the gimbals are really far down for me, and so what I keep doing is moving it up. I keep like moving it forward in my hands, like so. When I hold it like this, if you look where these gimbals are, they're like way down here, versus the QX7, which when I hold this, the gimbals are up a lot higher, like in relation to like kind of my thumbs. And so I remember this. I remember this from the previous LiteRadio 4. I remember that I kept moving it upwards in my hands. I kept like trying to move it forwards. The problem is you move it forward so far that you can't get to the arm switch. And so the problem that I have with it is when I hold it normally like this, everything is at an angle. Like because I'm used to my fingers being like up here. So like left and right, I'm used to being this. When I rotate this is what I want to be left and right, like this weird. And so yeah, all right. Let me Let's see if I can get used to this. I'm going to shift it forward as far as I can. Oh, boy. Okay, hold on. Jesus. Yeah, okay. Oh, boy. All right, so turtle mode, arm, turtle mode off, disarm, arm again. Okay. Turtle mode back on. What you're seeing is someone who's spent 10 years flying the same transmitter, switching to a different transmitter. What I remember from the previous LiteRadios is that I just basically couldn't get used to them. Let me try to fly with my thumbs. Ooh. Oh my god. Okay. Yikes. So I basically what I'm dealing with is I have no like fine motor control. With my thumbs especially. I'm not gonna have any. I'm not gonna be able to move the stick slowly. Jesus. And like flying inside is like the worst case scenario here because it's super difficult. But let's stick with it for a second here. Wow, yeah, I cannot fly with thumbs. Good lord. There's just, oh my god, there's just no precision with your thumbs. Whew, whoa, wowee. Oh my god. I feel like it's my first time flying. Let's see if I can even get it upstairs. I got it upstairs. No! Okay. Alright, so LQ, well, RSSI is up at like 40. We're down into the 30s up there. I'm going to do a QX7 battery and we'll take a look. Oh my god. Oh my god. Wow, this is tough. Oh god. Get out of there. Get out of there. Come on, little buddy. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Oh no. This switch here, throttle down here, and then here. Okay. This, that, and then this. And then... Come on, baby. Make it home! Make it home! I will bend over in this case because this battery has been discharged down really low. Okay. All right. So, here we go. Here we go. Come on. Come unplug battery. Ugh! There we go. All right. So, one battery down. I'm going to turn this thing off, and I'm going to jump onto the QX7 real quick because I want to check the... RSSI when I go upstairs in that same sort of spot. This is an Minmo module in here. It is on 250 hertz at 250 milliwatts. Let me turn this down. I think this is on 100 milliwatts. I'm going to turn this down to 100. Transmitter power, 250. Down to 100. Okay, cool. And so get out of here. All right, this is on 100 milliwatts with a proper antenna. This is the Minmo antenna. Let's see if there's any difference between the two of them. The LQ was pretty much pegged, but maybe the RSSI will tell us something. Also, I need to fly a transmitter that I'm familiar with real quick, or I'm going to lose my fucking mind. So, up top here, we are at there. Yep, down to the 30s. Okay. So, looks like the antenna setup that they've got in it is relatively normal. Oh, God. Did I really just fall into an unrecoverable box. Unbelievable. Thank you, Sage! Whee! Oh my god, Teddy. There he is. There's our buddy. There's old Beardy McGillicuddy. Uh-oh. Stop that. Hey, we still crash a lot with the QX7, but it looks better when we crash. Oh, hit that gate so hard. All right, let's get this thing hooked back up to the other transmitter. What happens if I turn both transmitters on? They have the same binding phrase. Teddy, can I just switch? Can I just quick swap back and forth between them? Nah, I can't. That would be kind of wild. What if I, they're both on. What if I just turn the one off? I'm turning my QX7 off. Let's see what happens. Will it just magically connect to the other one? Oh my god, it does! That's pretty slick. Teddy! 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 Okay, let's... Whoo, boy. So... trying to figure out what I'm pinching again, by the way. Oh, that's unrecoverable for sure this time. Yeah, now we're taking the walk. I have flown gamepad style radios before, and it's not been this bad. This is pretty rough for me. This is going to be different for everyone, though. The QX7 is a very strangely shaped transmitter. Most people will probably not have this hard of a time adapting. Oh my god, I can't even just fly straight through there. Let me try tucking my arms into my sides a little bit here. The OSD going away is just a newbie drone thing. Their OSD is a little flaky. It's back. Oh wow. Okay, hold up. This is rough. I'm having a hard time. I'm trying to figure out why. It almost feels like the stick ends are higher than I expect them to be. Like they're nice and smooth, but they're not where I think they should be. And then I have those moments where I get that huge overcorrection. If I did 100 batteries with this, I could more than likely get used to it, but that's, you know, now you're getting into the territory of like you have you're building another muscle memory. And so if you're going to have a travel transmitter, it should be one that you can adjust to fairly easily. Okay. It is the arm switch is in a good position. I am able to disarm very quickly there. That's important. I do like that. If you fly a QX7, I think you're going to struggle with this. There are other transmitters that will not be as big of an adjustment as this one. If you fly any other transmitter than a QX7, it might be easier. For all I know, it might be more difficult. Have any of you guys spent any time with the LiteRadios that can talk about the adjustment period between them and what your normal transmitter is? And of course, let us know what your normal transmitter is. Whoo! Wow, yeah, it's... I don't know if the gimbal travel is less, which is what's causing that right there, that crazy overcorrection. Or if it's just that, like, my hands are in a weird spot. I definitely... Whoa! Closed my eyes on that one. I thought I was going to get hit in the face. There's also... It also might be that, like, the QX7 is just a big box. It doesn't angle your hands in at all. What I am noticing is, like... Let me show you. I am having to hold this thing. I'm holding it out here. I'm only really touching it with my palms, and then I cannot wrap my hands like this. If I wrap my hands like this, everything that I do is at an angle, and it's like I'm like I got these big long fingers, and so I can't like you know, like that. So I'm having to hold it out. I'm holding it out like this. See the big gap? The big gap there. Let me compare the throw of the gimbals. It feels like that's a pretty big throw versus... Oh, no, it's not. Okay, yeah, okay, so that's why that overcorrection is happening. This is a big... Yeah, this is a huge throw. This is a much shorter throw. You can technically like unscrew on some of these. You can unscrew the thumbsticks for that. On this one, when you can do that, it'll be a 2-piece. This is not a 2-piece, so I can't really unscrew these. I could switch these to a different set of thumbsticks that are 2-piece, and then I could do that, but not right out of the box. Okay, so the throw is much shorter. That makes a lot of sense. As to why I'm having some trouble with this talk. Oh, I'm in the... I didn't mean to go into the menu. Let's get out of there. Let's see if we can get a good Teddy reaction. Oh, yeah. Oh, he's pissed tonight. Oh, no! Hold on. This. Back out of turtle mode. All right, let's see. Oh, no! We had like 1 second of... Can you stop flipping over, little fella? Even Teddy's like, why is it flipping over like that? Oh! Get it! Get it! Get it, big tough boy! Oh, boy. Wowee. Okay. I already have, like, all the expo in the world. I would have to add even more expo to kind of, like, tame this thing down. Oh, come on. I promise I'm a better pilot than this. Anybody that's new. Matter of fact, the last battery I fly is going to be a battery on my normal transmitter. Woo! Wowee. Again, I'm somebody that's flown the same transmitter for 10 years. And so this is like worst case scenario, you know, me trying a different transmitter. Whew. Man, there is like a rate with this shorter. You know, I might actually, if I was going to use this, I might actually want less expo, because the short gimbal travel, there's just like this point where it goes nuts. With the QX7 on the big long throw gimbals, the point where the rate curve explodes is much farther out. Oh my god, easy. Woo-wee! That is tough. All right. one more battery, just to, not two more batteries to see. No, one more battery to see if I can adjust to it a little bit more, and then we're gonna do two QX7 batteries as a palate cleanser, because this is making me feel awful. You can adjust the stick length, Cole. I just said that. The stick ends that this comes with are not two-piece stick ends. That's what I was talking about like a minute ago. Come unplugged, you little devil. There we go. Okay. Hey, this is a 6 battery stream. You should have flown your 6 batteries today. If you haven't, do it. Tomorrow you will thank today you. Well, tomorrow you will thank yesterday you. If you fly 6 a day, it won't take very long with Tiny Whoops, and you'll get way better and have way more fun flying. So do it. Okay, let me try to just, like, fly this around. Let me not obsess over trying to figure out what's happening. Let me just try to adjust to this. And fly. Oh, Jesus. Oh, come on now. All right, hold on. Oh. Come on now. Yeah, we got it. We can do things. Oh, get out of there. Woo, we got it. Okay. We're good. We're good. No, no. Yeah, buddy. You know how I can tell that the sticks. Oh, I'm in my shoe, aren't I? I can tell that the sticks are farther down because at the end of those moves, I'm pitching back really hard. Because where I think center should be is not where center is. Okay. All right, last battery on the LiteRadio 4. I have a funny feeling that for most of you, it would not be this rough. It's just the QX7 is such an oddly shaped transmitter. I have oddly shaped hands, though, and an oddly shaped everything. Some of these issues I have with everybody's transmitters. Like whenever I fly somebody else's rig with their transmitter, I have some of these problems, which again is why I think that as a QX7 10-year user of the QX7, this is in the complete opposite direction. Woo! I feel like I'm drunk. I mean, for $50, it's cheaper than a couple bottles of alcohol. Yeah, there's no way. I keep changing the way that I'm holding it. I keep trying to adjust. I keep doing different things to see if I can get this into my hands in a position where it kind of makes sense, but there just kind of isn't. There just isn't a way that I can hold this that it becomes that the sticks are where I expect them to be. Oh my god, I tried to just fly through that gate and I didn't give it any throttle. I thought I blipped the throttle, but it barely moves. Yeah, like when I push the transmitter up really far in my hands, I can't reach full throttle. There it is. It's whew. If you're a thumber, you're going to be totally fine with this. But for a pincher that's used to the QX7, this is rough. Man, I couldn't get to the to the disarm button switch because I'd shifted it so far forward in my hands. Signal strength looks good though, same as the Niminmo. No problems with that. I know that was an issue with one of the previous LiteRadios, is like the range was just super limited. It doesn't look like that's going to be an issue here. Makes sense that they would have figured that out. I can't get this battery unplugged either. Come on now. I've had a extremely anxiety-ridden week, and my fingernails have paid the price. And that is why I'm having a hard time getting this battery unplugged. All right. Woo-wee! Back to the QX7 as a palate cleanser. Yeah, if you can find somebody that has a LiteRadio, see if it works with your hands. Try to fly it around, see if you can get your hands into a spot. But yeah, look, this is what I'm working with. I got they've been called piano player hands. You know, this is none of these little gamepad style controllers work for me, and this is these here long fingers are why. The QX7 is the only transmitter that I've ever run that works with my hands because it's huge. This thing is gigantic. Like the gimbals are like really far out, and like the bot, you know, you kind of rest down here. Yeah. All right, here we go. Two quick batteries. You will have a chance to win this LiteRadio 4, since it's obviously not going to be my travel radio because it just doesn't work with my hands. You will have a chance to win this on the first Monday of what will be December, right? Yeah, so like I think 2 Mondays from now. This will be in one of the giveaways. Maybe the super chat based giveaway, or maybe the Tiny Whoop tier giveaway. I'm not sure which one. I'll figure out that day. Hummingbird V4 with HQ 1.2 by 0.9 by 3 propellers. One of the propellers looked like it was super wrecked. Yeah, it's this one. The tip of the blade bent up like crazy. Now it's back flat. All right, let's get some proper flying in here. I need to switch this this camera mount as well. I've been taking forever to do that. Okay. Now this feels weird. I need to adjust to this for a second. Man, I had definitely adjusted to where the throttle was. I'm having to readjust here. Yikes! Yeah, I was starting to adjust, that's for sure. This feels very weird. Oh, so close. Yet, so far. The fine control is back, though. Like, the ability to not make those massive overcorrections is back, which is cool. But I had definitely gotten used to that at least a little bit, because this don't feel quite right yet. Wonder how long it'll take me to ooh, that fan. I think I might be already kind of adjusted. And I'm sitting a little weird. Hold on, let me sit up here and make sure this thing is sitting back normally in my hands again. Yeah, we're back. Oh, shit. Oh, I clipped the top of it. No way. See if I can get the mega power loop. I keep hitting that right side. Try one more time. Oh, I hit the bottom that time. So that this cube is normally pulled out a little bit. So this is like the ultra mega power loop with this cube all the way against the wall. There we go. Oh no, I hit the top that time. Jesus. I'm overcorrecting with my oh my god, really? Okay. Oh! Oh, really? Come on now. Yeah, wow. That's pretty interesting, actually. Flying this after having adjusted to that is kind of crazy. I haven't done that in a long time. I haven't flown a different transmitter in ages. That's kind of nutty. How much my brain adjusted to the LiteRadio 4, and it just doesn't. This just feels very weird right now. But every millisecond that I fly this, I'm getting back to normal. There we go. My god, these newbie drone 0702 30,000 kV motors make so much power. Holy hell. That's why the runtime is kind of rough with them. Woo! Oh no, that ain't gonna work. Ah, I need to get the. I need to do the. Oh, yeah. There's me getting locked out. I have not made the crash recovery changes to this rig, and I can really feel it there. Hey. Nope. Oh, that was kind of cool looking. I'm still having a hard time with where hover throttle is. I keep getting a little too high with the hover throttle. I will hit this. Come on, really? I must get the mega power loop at least once. Come on, why do I keep hitting the right side of it like that? That's super weird. So, am I pushing... I wonder if I'm pushing yaw in, or am I pushing roll in? There it is. Oh, you son of a bitch. You're gonna do me like that? Oh, come on! No, it's even a crash afterwards like that is unacceptable. Dude, come on. Dude! Oh, maybe tonight's not the night. Yeah, tonight's not the night. I mean, some nights I do just fly like this, in fairness. But I'm blown away at I'm having a really hard time with throttle control right now. Maybe tonight's just one of those nights, though. It's weird because, like, I'm trying not to blame the adjustment period because I do feel like I'm back, but it's always hard to tell if I'm just, like, having an off night or not. Oh, that was annoying. Huh. Interesting. Here's the change. If you're using crash recovery and you feel like sometimes when it activates, it's locking you out for too long, here's how you fix that. We dove all the way down the rabbit hole with this on the live stream a week or so ago about crash recovery. Deep dive into crash recovery, I think it's called. But here's the short version of that. There's one adjustment that changes how long crash recovery stays active and tries to find center. and I don't remember what that is called off the top of my head, but there's a super easy way in the CLI to pull all that stuff up all at once. And so you come in here, you connect, and then in the CLI, you're going to type get space crash underscore. This is going to pull up all the crash recovery options. And so here, crash recovery is turned on. The yaw limit is set to default. That works fine there. The recovery rate I have turned all the way up, so it goes back to 0 as quickly as it possibly can. The crash recovery angle it's going to get within 10 degrees of center. That's close enough. The delay is set to 0. That's default. That works really well. Here it is, crash time. Oh, wow, I do have it. I do have the crash time turned all the way down. Huh, okay. I guess I'm just getting more sensitive to when it does kind of lock me out. Here's the threshold, turned up a little bit from default. Here's the set point threshold, I meant to say. G threshold turned up a little bit, and then the D threshold turned up a little bit from default. Those I've turned up because crash recovery was activating too often. Wow, that's wild. I have adjusted to that amount of time within the last week, and I already wish that I could turn it down even more. That's kind of funny. So there you go, man. LiteRadio 4, maybe not for QX7 people. I think it's just too different. The QX7 is so drastically opposite of the gamepad style radios. This is the problem that I have. I want to find a small transmitter that I can use as my travel or vacation transmitter, but every time I fly them, it's just so much of a change that I have a super hard time being able to adjust, and that's going to drive me crazy, basically. We did the setup, we messed it up, we fixed it. I showed you a part of how to get the configurator set up. We connected to the configurator, looked at a couple things. Yeah, not bad. $50. Good entry point. If you're trying to get somebody into FPV, this is a pretty decent option, I think. You can use it on the simulator through the bottom here. It also claims that it's got the Bluetooth set up. That would be pretty slick to be able to wirelessly connect to the simulator. Just plug a wire in, to be honest. But yeah, $50. Good deal for a little transmitter. Also, from the instruction manual, it looks like you can use it with Xbox, and that's pretty slick because I think there's a DRL sim on the Xbox. So yeah, that's pretty neat. Again, there will be a giveaway for this coming up, since it's too much of an adjustment period for me to become my travel radio. Let me get caught up on chat. I apologize, friends. I completely ignored you all night because I wanted to get that thing working. Danzilla the Terrible says, "Did you just say who cares what color it is? I'm unsubscribing. You need to get your priorities in order." Whoop Fox says, "Just finished off a Mobile 7.1S Walk Snail Tree Toppers BetaFPV 3-in-1. Very cool." FPV says, if it had a screen, you could just hit the bind Lua script. I'll remove the bind phrase and you'd be good to go. Very true. It'd be more expensive if it had a screen, though. Break Faded says, "Just got the Radiomaster Pocket. Would you recommend 500 hertz only flying whoops within a couple hundred yards?" Yeah, 500 hertz is for short range stuff. You're sacrificing range for the lowest possible latency. So yeah, I mean, a couple hundred yards, you could probably push it a little bit farther than that, but you'll see from your link quality and your RSSI. We talked about that. FPV says, "I can only imagine a newbie trying to do this." It's hard for me to, I've just been flying for too long. It's hard. I don't go into these reviews having read a bunch of stuff and learning a bunch of stuff, because I want to at least try to learn it on the fly with you. That's about as good as I can do for trying to emulate like a brand new person's learning experience. You know, like I can't turn off 10 years of knowledge in FPV. So hopefully some of the struggles that a new person might have comes through when I do this. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't know what else to do to like simulate a new person, other than to kind of go into it not having watched somebody else's review, not having read the instructions, right? Like me sitting here flipping through the instructions is in theory what somebody new would be doing. They're going to be flipping through them much slower. In theory, they're going to read them, you know, in the perfect world, they're going to read the instruction manual line by line. That's one of the best things you can do to learn when you're new at stuff. This was one of the ultra cheat codes when I was in photography. Digital SLRs used to come with a manual that was legitimately this thick. And if you would sit there and read it, there's all kinds of good info in there about like photography too. And so that was one of the ways that I learned really fast when I began shooting stills in my 20s. And so, yeah, read the manual, friends, if you're new. There's lots of good stuff in there. And so like a new person reading this manual, the physical manual line by line, they might not have seen that Wi-Fi thing. If you looked up the manual on their website, it did have it did mention Wi-Fi in there. So yeah. Cole says to save bandwidth, ELRS uses fewer bits for channels that are not 1 arm or 5 channels 2 through 5. Control input tear, and they get a full resolution. Other channels get less resolution. Yeah, that's one of the really cool things about ELRS. I'm assuming that's when I was having those issues where the sticks were like acting digitally. It had nothing to do with that though. It was because I put it into calibrate mode and didn't do it. So that was on me on that one. Cole talking more about that. We got those. Here we go. You Can FPV says, man, if I would have bought this, I would have found a new hobby by now. Thank God. I didn't need easy time with my first radio. Keep in mind, I messed a bunch of stuff up on this, just monkeying around with it, trying to figure out how to get it in the Wi-Fi mode without doing a quick Google search or reading the instructions. So, from what I saw, I feel like this would have been pretty easy to set up. If you hadn't have used binding phrases, you could have just hit the bind button and then unplugged 3 times, and we would have been bound. Nowadays, most stuff is on AETR, and so that would have been totally fine. And those are really the two things. The mapping that they've chosen on the buttons is exactly the way that I think it should be. And so, yeah, there's a physical bind button down here. You would have powered it on. It would have been good to go. So I think this is very beginner friendly. No screen, I actually kind of like for beginners because I feel like having the screen is an easy way to go in there and start screwing stuff up. You know, they've got this set up pretty much exactly the way I would have set it up, other than this one button. But as a new person, you're not going to have air mode on a switch. You're not going to be using these buttons. But they are mapped how I would map them, 5 and 6. That does make a lot of sense to me. So I think this is actually very new, beginner friendly. CiottiFPV says, and now your computer belongs to a Russian botnet. Off Axis says, I know of a hammer that would fix that Mac for you. CMYK says, that seems like a total BS design flaw. USB-C port is dead now. Nope, that was my bad. I was reading that line on their website wrong. Jamie says, is the radio turned off? Perhaps it means USB function is different when powered off versus on. That's exactly it. Frank commenting, CMYK commenting. All right, cool. So this is where we figured that out. Big yellow button at the bottom of the configurator that says activate. What happens when you click that? Yep, I did not. On configurators, I'm used to looking in the top right corner. If I'd been newer and I would been looking at the configurator and looked around the screen a little bit, I would have probably seen, just like Tamava saw, the giant yellow button at the bottom that says activate your radio here. So yeah, there's that. Channel map, okay, talked about that. Off Axis says, get with the times, old man. CYK says, so battery is internal LiPo. Does it look serviceable? We talked about that. Oscar did a teardown. Good to go there. Mayan Hawk says, someone's selling one of those 4-port parallel chargers. I tagged you on the Facebook listing. What do you mean? Oh, wow. Ages ago, I was looking for one of these. Yeah, on FPV Marketplace. Can you send me the link? Good find, Mayan Hawk. Hell yeah, dude. I want this. I don't want them both, but I want this. I'll probably just buy them both, and then I'll put this 6-port into a giveaway. But yeah, I want this. I've been looking for this for a while. Yeah, can you send me the link, brother? So I don't have to try to find that on FPV Marketplace. Very, very cool. I was showing the wrong screen just now. I thought that I was showing you guys my Discord, but I wasn't. Cole FPV crashed the Hummingbird so hard the VTX band bits got knocked around. Yeah, that was weird, man. That was super weird. Islander FPV says you need a 3D printed holder for gangly hands. Yeah, that's true. You could 3D print a thing for this to make it the same size as the QX7, at which point it's huge, and it's not really, the whole point, I think, of this is that it is small. And so, yeah, you could certainly do that. FizzPV says, I feel better about my flying now. Whoop Fox says, I'm looking at replacing my pocket with a GX12. Very cool. I'm super curious if the GX12 would work with my weird ass hands. CMYK says, real talk, I still don't monitor my LQ or SSI. CMYK also says, I jump between the Radio Master Pocket and the Boxer. Noticeably different experience, but only takes one battery or so to adjust. See, that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm really looking for. And I might not be able to find it. The QX7 might just be such a weirdly shaped radio that I can just never find that. CMYK says, I use M2 threaded standoffs to lengthen my sticks on the Pocket radio. Interesting. So yeah, okay. Oh, wait a second. These are 2-piece. That's my bad. But there's not much adjustability. There's only a little bit of adjustability here. But yeah, these are a 2-piece gimbal. So let's see. Hold on. So crank that down. Okay. So I can make that a little bit longer. Let's compare it real quick. It's still not going to be nearly the same throw, but okay. There's that. That makes a pretty big difference. Wow, yeah, it does make a pretty big difference. So there you go. You can make these sticks longer. It is a 2-piece thumbstick. But I have more problems than that. The main problem with this for me, I think, is that when I hold this, the center line of these is drastically different from the center line that I'm used to on the QX7. But yeah, that is nice that that these are 2-piece thumbsticks, and you can make these significantly longer. You can make it that much longer before you kind of run out of thread. So, very cool. Good job on that, BetaFPV. I wish I'd seen that sooner. Cole FPV says, can you get aftermarket sticks that do adjust the length? Absolutely. QX7 is Futaba style. I didn't pinch, but I rest my pointer fingers around the metal rings. I made a 3D print that rounds the edges so they aren't so uncomfortable. Cole clarifies, I don't pinch. If autocorrect were a person to be in prison for murder. I would be in prison for murder. You Can FPV says, when I was brand new, I didn't have this much trouble with the Pocket. If I would have got this, I might never have figured all this out. Again, most of the stuff that I had problems with was my bad. And it was because I was trying to use the binding phrase. For somebody new, this is, I can't imagine, what would the Pocket have done easier than this, right? For a new person, you would power this on, you would hit the bind button, you would bind it to your quad, the buttons are all correctly laid out, and then you'd be up in the air because it would have been AETR. I'm sure that the Pocket doesn't come TAER. And so, yeah, there's nothing about the Pocket or any other transmitter really that's going to be any easier than this. The sticks were calibrated, and then I screwed that up looking for Wi-Fi mode. I was being stubborn looking for Wi-Fi mode. So for a beginner, it's not going to get much easier than this. There's nothing that the Pocket's going to do that I can think of that would have been any easier than this if I hadn't have monkeyed all around with it. Apache Smoke Goodness Cyber says, good morning. How you doing, bro? I'm good. Hope you are as well. Render says, I will say this new radio seems far better build quality than the previous models. Yeah, I mean, I didn't think that the previous models were bad build quality per se. They did have those silly little tiny metal switches, which are nasty. I actually prefer these much bigger, chunkier switches. Yeah, the build quality is totally fine. If I'd paid $50 for this, I'd be perfectly happy with it. There's nothing wrong with this. And the range on this was the same range as what I get with this Neminmo module. That was a definite issue with the previous one. It had significantly less range. Speaking of, I'm going to put this back onto 250 milliwatts. So yeah, build quality looks great. Nothing wrong with that at all. Transmitter power, 250. There we go. All right. Chris Croft says the interesting, the GX12 width and height is similar to the Pocket, but is so much thicker. Oh, I never thought about that. I never thought about the thickness of the thing. Wow, yeah, the QX7 is way thicker. Holy hell. Maybe that has something to do with it, because the thickness of it lets your hands kind of like wrap around it. Interesting. Last comment of the live stream is Chris Crofts. He says most Radio Master radios now come as AETR. Everything comes as AETR. Everything has come with AETR for as long as I can possibly remember. I bought my first transmitter 10 years ago from Grayson Hobby, and they did all of the setup. And the guys at Grayson Hobby, Will and I forget the other guy's name. They are OG airplane pilots, and it's funny. At the time I lived in Charleston. Now I live like 11 miles from Grayson Hobby, so I've talked to those guys a bunch since then. And at one point I did say to him, like, "Why did you set my transmitter up TAER?" And he was just like, I've just always done that. I never even really thought about it until like years after that, when like all the FPV stuff was coming AETR instead of TAER. And so yeah, I did actually ask him about it at one point. And yeah, apparently it's an old school RC airplane thing. So yeah, AETR is definitely the norm. I should probably put this back. I am going to put this back into AETR, because whoever wins this in the giveaway, it's going to drive him insane to have it be. I am going to leave this button switched, though. I'm going to leave this button reversed. Oh, Brandon's Baked Bean says TAER is what Spectrum uses. So that's probably a part of it as well, because Spectrum was super popular 10 years ago. I did not know that. I did not know that Spectrum was TAER. That's interesting. Connect. Wait, did I have it powered on? No. Betaflight running or something? No, Betaflight's not running. What? Work. Why you no work now? Oh, I had to click that giant yellow button again. That's weird. I wonder why. Oh, well. So, yeah, I'm going to put this back to AETR. and R is already set up. But yeah, I'm going to leave the SF reversed. Did I change anything else? Mode 2, everybody flies mode 2. It's cool that you can adjust the power and the packet rate in here, but I'm going to leave it 100 milliwatts, 250. That's probably about right. Telemetry ratio 164. That's good too. So yeah, there we go. Now it's set up for normal humans. And I can actually also kind of get rid of this because I'm not going to use any other BetaFPV transmitters. Thanks for hanging, friends, and muddling along with me. Oh, wait, no. Chris Croft says, we had a guy come out to a club new to FPV, somehow changed the outputs on his radio to have throttle and roll on the same channel. See, that's what I mean. That's the kind of stuff that I feel like if you've got a screen, you can, like, accidentally sort of do. For a new person, I like having this just set up and just bind it and go. I feel like when you have that screen and when you can dive into the channel mapping and stuff, it's like, yeah. Whoop Fox says, my buddy got a bind and fly from Rotor Light and his pocket came TAER. Oh my God, really? Wow. I have not seen, out of all the quads that I've been sent in the past 8 years, 7 years, 6 years, I have never had one come TAER. Never. That is wild. Here comes some more 7-inch flying with the same props from the beginning of the live stream, but in my other testing spot on a really windy day. Look how much this thing is. These are tri-blades, big pitch tri-blades. Look at this thing getting crushed by the wind, but look at this thing boogieing in this spot. I'll see you guys on Friday at 7 o'clock. Be good, friends. Thank you, BetaFPV, for sending this out. Very cool.
Yeah. Out in the yard where the grass grows wild, CiottiFPV's goggles locked, grinning like a child. Teddy spaghetti's, fur flies, and jet wash dreams. Yeah. Chasing small whoops like a dog possessed fiend. Eyes on a neon blur, hard in the chase. Big fuzz and prop spin, all tangled in place. Yeah. Four-legged rebel with a rotor stir tail in the circus of the sky. They never fail. CiottiFPV, Teddy spaghetti, dynamic duo kings, barking at the breeze, throttling at top speed, they zooming through hoops, flipping in style. That schnauzer's got throttle and a 2D smile. Yeah. Shotty's on sticks, Teddy's on paws. Side by side, legends breaking all the laws. Through the kitchen, over couch scale terrain. Backyard mayhem in their flight domain. No ground too sacred, no loop too tight. Fuzz, fuel, fury ignites the night. When pilot and pup lock eyes on the prize, every whoop they conquer is a fresh cut surprise. Yeah. Yo, Shotty behind the sticks, Teddy's leading the pack. Prop guard missiles unleashed, never looking back. No leash, no map, just freestyle mic. They on the dog drone streets every day and night. Said whoops, hitting low, gotta nail the dive. Teddy push throttle up, feel the beast come alive. I see the neon arc, got the sticks locked in, Teddy. Yeah, let's rip this loop, ride the roar of the wind, Teddy. Yep. Yeah, CiottiFPV, Teddy spaghetti, diamond at duo kings, barking at the breeze, throttling at top speed, zooming through hoops, flipping in style. That schnauzer's got throttle and a 2D smile. Teddy spaghetti, barking mission's just begun. FPVs, fur-faced legends, legends singing loud, yeah. Teddy, Spaghetti, and CiottiFPV, always proud.